Let's stay with developing stories now. Higher Education Minister Dr. Nobuhle Nkabane has met with the students from Nelson Mandela University to address disruptions to the start of the academic year. The university's SRC has slammed the alleged conduct of NSFAS at that institution, saying it's a major challenge for students. Newzroom Afrika's Sipha Kema has been closely monitoring that story. She joins us live now with an update. Sipha Kema, good afternoon to you. Yet more challenges with NSFAS, with students starting the new academic year. What have they told the minister, the students there?
Well, absolutely, Michelle, as we've just wrapped up the briefing with the Minister of Higher Education, as well as joined by the Vice-Chancellor of the university, as well as Administrator of NSFAS, and the newly appointed Chairperson of the board, Dr. Nkabane, was also present today. Now, while the minister did engage the SRC president during a Q&A session inside the auditorium that we were in, it was later on when she returned to the NSFAS offices where some of the students approached her as we came to a packed hall where students with issues and challenges regarding funding and accommodation have been sitting and waiting in a long queue for most part of the day, Michelle. And those students came up to the minister to tell her some of the issues that they're facing with, saying that they can't wait any longer for NSFAS to sort this out. It needs urgent attention, as some of these students are actually squatting with some of their friends, while some of them are looking for odd places to sleep in around the campus because there's no funding towards their accommodation, especially those that have NSFAS or those that are having challenges with accessing their funding. And now also another issue that was brought up, of course, during, or rather mid the media briefing, we saw there one of the EFF Student Command Council coming up to speak to the delegation that was here from higher education, saying that this is an urgent matter. Many of the students here, they don't eat, they don't have accommodation, and also this is not, it's a long-standing issue and does not need short-term solutions. It needs permanent solutions, and that's what it seems is going to be, Michelle, since as the minister has officially appointed a board, NSFAS board. As you know, that board was dissolved, and the NSFAS was under administration for a number of years now. The newly appointed board could be looking at these challenges that are faced by universities, not just the Nelson Mandela Bay. But this is what the SRC president, Latita Muzwana, had to say regarding the issues of NSFAS here in the Nelson Mandela Bay, Nelson Mandela University.
The pilot project that was introduced by NSFAS is a headache on itself, is a headache to the institution. And please note that currently, majority of students at Nelson Mandela University are beneficiaries of NSFAS. So if there's an issue with NSFAS, there's an issue with majority of the system at Nelson Mandela University. It can be that a student is being verified whilst they were accepted for NSFAS. It can be that as the academic year begins, that a student is application status is still on application in progress. And those are the issues that pertain to what's currently faced in NSFAS. But we want to commend the approach of the minister today to try and solve all the issues, because he said, let's gather a list of all the students, note them down with all the issues, different issues, send it to her, and she has committed to assist. And she gave me my personal number so that the assistant can be fast-tracked.
Now, Michelle, as part of the solutions to this issue, not just here in the Nelson Mandela Bay University, but across universities in the country, the minister has left a task team, somewhat of a team, that is going to be dealing with some of these issues faced, or rather raised by the students here today, more especially regarding NSFAS issues of funding and accommodation. She says that she wants these issues sorted out as the school year has already begun, Michelle. Some of these students who were waiting in those long lines in the NSFAS office were saying that they're missing out on classes because classes have already started started. And she says she's going to roll this out across the various universities. She'll be visiting all universities in the country to listen in particular to what exactly is each university dealing with, and not just having a blanket approach to a solution, as some of these universities, the issues and crises that they're facing differ on various issues. Michelle.
And Sipha, you know, last week we had this discussion with one of the student unions about the NSFAS issue. He described a situation where there aren't enough vendors, so people who sign up to provide accommodation to students. But then there are also reports that, in fact, there are enough vendors, but there just aren't enough inspectors to add those vendors onto the NSFAS database. That's on the one hand. Then on the other hand, there have been complaints from students about accommodation that is listed on the NSFAS website, but is almost unlivable.
Yeah, those are some of the issues raised by students, not just here in the Nelson Mandela University, as you said, Michelle, but across various universities, that the not having or shortages of inspectors, because NSFAS needs to inspect and then confirm and allow those private landlords to be part of the NSFAS program, so that they can be NSFAS verified, because that's where some people don't understand, is that not every private residence can be part of the NSFAS database. You need to go through a process and a verification process in order to qualify. Then you have those private residents that are, some students describe, in unlivable conditions, and you find out that they are actually under the NSFAS database, and they have been verified and gone through the process of being part of those that are supplying accommodation privately to universities. And these are the issues that some of the students were raising, saying that this needs looking into, and that's exactly what these teams that will be left at these various universities will be looking into, exactly that. But also, Michelle, one of the biggest issues now is what Latita was also mentioning, where mid-year, you find that NSFAS starts a verification process. That means funding is frozen for that particular student that is going through verification, and that could last up to 3 to 4 months without funding. That means then those private residents then kick out the students, and they have nowhere to go. As you would imagine, it's the middle of the year, they can't scrape any funding or any form of financing their accommodation, but also food, Michelle. Where are they going to eat? So big problems that are facing some of these students regarding NSFAS, and these are the issues that the minister needs to attend to urgently. Michelle.
Absolutely, just unacceptable, especially for the start of the year, and it does appear that these problems are becoming perennial. Sipha, Kema, thanks very much indeed for that update.